Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to explore difference between iteration versus recursion and local scope versus global scope. Without wasting time, let's go through the video. First, we are going to learn about the difference between iteration and recursion. We consider a program is in iteration if there is a loop present in it. Example, for loop and while loop. And iteration is a process of repeating a set of instructions multiple times. Moving to recursion, a program is said to be in recursion when a function calls itself either directly or indirectly. Iteration is faster than recursion. Recursion tend to be slower because of the overhead of the multiple function calls and managing the call stack. Iteration solutions generally require more lines of code since the loops must be explicitly defined and controlled. Recursive solutions are generally shorter since the function handles the repetition by calling itself. Next, the most important thing you need to remember while dealing with iteration and recursion is how to terminate them. In iteration, termination is based on loop condition. If the condition is not properly defined, it may lead to an infinite loop. To stop that, you need to use control statements, which I have already told in episode 3. You can go through the playlist to learn about them. In recursion, termination requires careful base case definition. If you don't know what is base case in recursion, let me explain. Recursion is always made up of two portions. They are base case and recursive case. The base case is the condition to stop the recursion, whereas the recursive case is the part where the function calls itself. If we do not have a proper base case to stop the recursion, then this function will call itself infinitely, leading to recursion error. This is an example for iteration where we use for loop which runs from 1 to 6, printing each number. This is an example for recursion where this function calls itself decrementing from 5 to 1. In this, the function calls itself decreasing n with each call until it reaches 0 and then terminates the function. Next up, local scope versus global scope. Local scope variables are defined within a function or a block. As you can see in this example, x equals to 10 is a local scope variable which is defined inside my function. In global scope, variables are declared outside all functions. As you can see in this example, x equals to 10 is defined outside of this function. A variable in the local scope is only accessible within a function where it is declared. If you run this function, it will return 10 in the console. But if you include this print x, it will raise an error that x is not defined. It is because, as I have already said, it is only accessible within this function. Outside the function, we cannot access this local variable. Global scope variables are accessed anywhere within the program, including inside functions and outside functions, which means if you run this code, you will get two tens in the console. Coming to modification in local scope, if you have given same name for global variable and local variable, the local variable will shadow the global variable inside the function, but it will not modify the global variable outside the function. Means if you have declared the global variable x equals to 20 and inside the function the local variable as 10, if you run this code, this will print first 10, next 20. This is because functions consider local variable over global variable. This happens only if you provide the same name. Global scope variables can be modified globally using global keyword inside the function. If you need to change any global value inside a function for local variables, as you have seen in this example, you don't need any keyword to change them. You can directly declare them. This will change the global value inside that function only. Whereas in global scope, there is a need for using global keyword to modify global value inside functions. This is the end for this video. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more Python programming content like this. And if you haven't started watching Python programming series, make sure to watch it. At this end of the video, you can find the episodes of Python programming series.